Brian, we've got some showers out and about this morning, so you may have to dodge and drive through some of these on your way to work or school. We'll start up to the north. Refugio, you've had some activity all around you, but not much through that part of the viewing area. A few more north of Rockport, Fulton, and Copano Bay. A little thunderstorm near Taft and Gregory, Portland. It's between those two locations, although Portland getting some rain. This is wind farm country here, and 181 is going to be wet because of that storm moving to the north. And in Corpus Christi, there's the Naval Air Station in Oso Bay. To the west of that, Rod Field, Saratoga, SPID through about the airline location, with this shower dropping moderate to heavy rain. That is heading in the direction of downtown. So parts of Corpus Christi going to be a little bit wet. On the drive cast, you'll need to maybe give yourself a few more minutes out the door with the showers floating through the area. This afternoon, though, will be a lot drier and shouldn't be problematic on the road. You can see the rain falling freshly on the lens of the tower cam as that shower is moving in the direction of us here at KIII. 77 degrees with a west wind at 3 miles per hour. And you can see here that offshore, there are a few more showers. These are being produced by a little upper atmosphere disturbance spinning counterclockwise. That's going to provide us with the lift needed to get the scattered showers, isolated storms going today, especially this morning. This is Jerry, a tropical storm that's going to be moving to the north, not a threat to the U.S. mainland. Lorenzo going to become a hurricane. This is going to be the most impressive of the systems that are currently out there. Major hurricane, but it will stay in the North Atlantic through the weekend. Shouldn't be problematic for us either. Here's Karen showing better representation on the satellite imagery this morning. 40-mile-per-hour winds. This going to work over Puerto Rico today. And then a lot of uncertainty in the longer range forecast. You see how the cone becomes circular, and the Hurricane Center displaying low confidence there. Still some options on the table out to the Atlantic, a drift to the west, and also possible and very likely that it just falls apart in the southwestern Atlantic. So not worried about that here either. The closest system to home is north of the Yucatan. It's unorganized, but there are some thunderstorms here we're watching. Hurricane Center giving it a 10 to 20% chance to become more organized as it approaches Mexico, but this going to track due west, won't be coming this way, although some of its moisture plume will work in this weekend, and that will be the catalyst for another uptick in the rain chances here on Saturday and Sunday. You'll see how this feature just moves to the west, and the rain production here into the weekend starts to go up. So we're going to look at scattered showers here, it looks like, and isolated storms on Saturday and Sunday, kind of similar to what we're going to see out and about today. As temperatures start to warm, we'll see these showers and isolated storms pop up. Temperatures will top out in the low 90s today as that activity shifts inland with the sea breeze. Tomorrow, less active, but still some stray sea breeze inspired showers for our Wednesday. So rain chances look like this. Scattered activity today, down to stray sea breeze stuff on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with rain chances trending back up into the weekend. Today, 91 degrees, scattered showers, partly cloudy, and a southeast wind at 7 to 17 miles per hour. The rain chance will be most likely in the morning and then drier in the afternoon as the sea breeze moves things away from Corpus Christi. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight, 76 degrees. And Brian, does this look familiar to you? Price is Right fans out there, the cliffhanger. Just to show we're only 2 degrees above seasonal normal.
I see.
It's not crazy, you know, what our forecast is with highs in the low 90s. We should top out at 89, so it's not that unusual as the rain is now hitting the studio here. Hot, low 90s, and then another shot for rain Saturday and Sunday. Brian.